Warning: if you've ever used Medicaid, food stamps, or housing assistance in the United States, the new public charge rule could destroy your chances of getting a green card or even renewing your visa. And here's the scary part. This isn't about what you're doing now. It's about what you did years ago. One government benefit you used back in 2019 could come back to haunt you in 2026, and most people have no idea they're already at risk. Listen, I need you to understand something right now. Immigration officers are about to get new power to look deeper into your financial history than ever before. They're not just checking if you have a job today. They're going to dig into whether you ever relied on public benefits, and if they find anything, they can use it as a reason to deny your application. This affects green card applicants, visa renewals, and even people trying to adjust their status inside the United States. So why is this happening now? The Trump administration just announced they're bringing back an expanded version of the public charge rule. If you remember 2019, you know how much chaos this caused the first time. Thousands of immigrants stopped going to doctors. Families pulled their kids out of nutrition programs. People were terrified that using any government help would ruin their immigration future. Now it's coming back, and this time it might be even stricter. Here's what you need to know. The public charge rule is not new. It's been part of immigration law for over 100 years. The basic idea is simple. The U.S. government doesn't want to give green cards to people who might become primarily dependent on government assistance. Makes sense, right? But here's where it gets tricky. What does primarily dependent actually mean? That's where the government keeps changing the rules. Under previous administrations, public charge mainly looked at cash benefits, things like welfare payments or long-term government care in institutions. If you used those heavily, it could hurt your case. But other benefits like Medicaid, food stamps, or housing vouchers, those usually weren't counted against you, especially if you were working and just needed temporary help. But the Trump administration's version from 2019 changed everything. Suddenly, immigration officers could consider almost any public benefit as a negative factor. Used Medicaid for 2 months? That's a mark against you. Got food stamps while you were laid off? They'd write that down. Lived in subsidized housing? All of it went into your file. The government started looking at your entire financial profile, your income, your credit score, your education level, your English skills, your age, your health. They built this whole point system to predict whether you might need benefits in the future. And here's the part that scared people the most. It wasn't just about whether you actually used benefits. It was about whether the government thought you might use them someday. So even if you never touched a single government program, if you had a low-paying job or a medical condition or poor English skills, immigration officers could decide you're likely to become a public charge and deny your green card. That rule got blocked in court and then reversed when Biden became president. For the past few years, we've been back to the older, narrower definition. But now, the Trump administration is back, and they're signaling they want to bring back that strict 2019 rule or maybe make it even tougher. So what does this actually mean for you? Let me break it down into real situations. If you're applying for a green card from inside the United States, this is huge. When you file your adjustment of status application, you have to submit a form called I-945, which is basically a financial report card. You list your income, your assets, your debts, your health insurance, and yes, any public benefits you've received. Under the new rule, immigration officers will scrutinize this form like never before. They'll look at every benefit you've used in the past 36 months. They'll check if you have private health insurance. They'll calculate whether your income is above a certain percentage of the federal poverty line. And if anything looks risky to them, they can deny your entire case. Here's a real example. Let's say you're a nurse making $40,000 a year. You have a family of 4. A couple of years ago, your husband lost his job, so you signed up for Medicaid for your kids and got food stamps for 6 months until he found work again. Under the old rule, that probably wouldn't hurt you much because you were employed and it was temporary. But under the strict public charge rule, those 6 months of benefits are now red flags. The officer might decide that because you needed help once, you might need it again. They could deny your green card, even though you've been working full-time and paying taxes. Or imagine you're a student on an F1 visa trying to switch to a work visa and eventually get a green card. You don't have a lot of money because you're in school. Maybe you don't have health insurance because student plans are expensive. Under the new rule, the government might look at your situation and say, this person doesn't have the financial resources to avoid public benefits in the future, and deny your application before you even have a chance to prove yourself. And it's not just green card applicants. This rule can affect visa extensions too. If you're on a temporary visa and you apply to extend it or change to a different visa category, the government can apply public charge analysis to your case. So if you've been in the US on a work visa and you lost your job and used unemployment benefits or Medicaid while you were looking for work, that could now count against you when you try to renew. Now let me tell you what's spreading on social media that you absolutely need to ignore. People are panicking and sharing all kinds of wrong information. I've seen posts saying that if you ever used any government benefit at all, even for one day, you'll automatically be deported. That's not true. I've seen people say that US citizen children using Medicaid will hurt their parents' immigration cases. That's also not accurate. Benefits used by your US citizen kids are not counted as public benefits received by you. Here's the truth. Public charge is not a deportation rule. If you already have a green card, using public benefits won't get you deported. The public charge test applies when you're asking for permission to come to the United States or permission to become a permanent resident. If you're already a green card holder, this rule doesn't apply to you. You can use Medicaid, food stamps, or any benefit you qualify for without risking your status. Also, not every benefit counts. Even under the strictest version of the rule, certain programs are always exempt. Emergency medical care doesn't count. Disaster relief doesn't count. School lunches for your kids don't count. Special education services don't count. Benefits you earned through your work, like Social Security retirement or unemployment insurance, don't count. And very importantly, benefits received by your US citizen family members are not attributed to you for public charge purposes. But here's where it gets complicated. The government has a lot of discretion. Public charge is what's called a totality of the circumstances test. That means immigration officers look at your whole situation. They're supposed to weigh positive factors against negative factors. Things that help you: a good job, high income, education, English skills, health insurance, family support, significant savings. And here's the thing. In many cases, those families were making the wrong choice. Their kids were US citizens, so the benefits wouldn't have counted against the parents anyway. Or they weren't even in situations where public charge applied to them. But the fear was so widespread and the rules were so confusing that people just pulled back from everything. Public health experts documented increases in food insecurity, untreated medical conditions, and housing instability in immigrant communities during that time. Children suffered the most. We're talking about US citizen children who missed vaccinations, who went to school hungry, who didn't get treatment for asthma or diabetes because their parents were afraid. And it wasn't just the families who suffered. Communities lost out too. When immigrant families don't use health care, infectious diseases spread. When kids don't get proper nutrition, they struggle in school. When families become homeless because they're afraid to use housing vouchers, that creates strain on emergency services. So what do? How do you protect yourself without harming your family? First, understand whether public charge even applies to you. If you're already a green card holder, relax. This rule isn't for you. If you're a refugee or asylee, public charge doesn't apply. If you're applying for citizenship, it doesn't matter. If you're renewing a temporary visa and not changing categories, it usually doesn't apply, though there are some exceptions. But if you're applying for a green card or certain visa changes, you need to be strategic. Here's your action plan. Number 1, document everything. Keep records of your employment, your income, your tax returns, your bank statements. If you've been working steadily and supporting yourself, you need proof. Don't assume the government will take your word for it. Number 2, if you're using public benefits right now and you have a green card application coming up, talk to an immigration attorney. I'm not saying you should stop using benefits you need, but you should understand how it might affect your case and whether there are ways to strengthen your application in other areas. Number 3. Get health insurance if you can. Under the 2019 rule, not having health insurance was a significant negative factor. The government's logic was that uninsured people are more likely to end up using public health care. So if you can afford private insurance or get it through your employer, do it. Number 4. If possible, increase your income above 125% of the federal poverty guidelines for your household size. That's the threshold that makes immigration officers feel more comfortable that you won't need government help. For a family of 4 in 2026, that's around $39,000 a year. Number 5. Find a financial sponsor if you need one. If your own income isn't high enough, you can have a family member or friend submit an affidavit of support, promising to support you financially if needed. A strong sponsor can overcome a lot of negative factors. Number 6. Don't lie and don't hide. If you used benefits in the past, you have to disclose it on your immigration forms. Lying about it is immigration fraud, and that's far worse than having used benefits. Be honest, but also be prepared to explain why you needed the help and how your situation has changed. Number 7. Be very careful about what benefits you accept going forward. I know this is a terrible position to be in. No one should have to choose between feeding their kids and getting a green card. But right now, that's the reality for some families. If you're in the middle of an immigration process, think very carefully before enrolling in new public benefit programs. Number 8. Stay informed. Rules can change quickly. What's true today might not be true in 6 months. Follow reliable sources. Don't make major decisions based on Facebook posts or rumors. And here's the most important thing. If this is affecting you, don't suffer in silence. Talk to a qualified immigration attorney. Many offer free consultations. Community organizations often have immigration legal services. You don't have to figure this out alone. Look, I want to be very clear about something. This policy is controversial, and there are people fighting it right now. Advocacy groups are preparing lawsuits. States are getting ready to challenge it. Congress could potentially block it. Things might change, but you can't bet your future on a court case that might happen. You need to prepare for the rule as if it's definitely coming. At the same time, don't let fear paralyze you. The immigration system is tough, but people navigate it successfully every day. With the right preparation and good legal advice, you can protect your American dream even under strict rules. I'm Joe from US Visa Path, and I'm here to keep your American dream safe. My job is to cut through the confusion and give you the information you actually need to make smart decisions. This public charge rule is complicated. It's scary, and it's going to affect millions of families. But knowledge is power. When you understand the rules, you can work within them. If this video helped you understand what's coming and how to prepare, hit that subscribe button right now. Immigration rules are changing constantly, and I'm here every week breaking down exactly what it means for you. Don't let a policy change catch you by surprise and cost you your future. Stay informed, stay prepared, and let's navigate this together.